Hey everybody, it's NTI day 16, April 15th. First off, you should only be watching this video if you're in the orange, green, or blue group, okay? And you should only be doing orange, green, and blue assignments. There's no reason for you to be doing other groups' assignments. In fact, you're just going to be messing things up, okay? So you only do your assignments. So first off, in your mind, you should be thinking, am I in orange, green, or blue math group? If you are, you're in the right video. And then you need to be thinking, that's the only assessment that I need to be doing. Because for some reason, I had people doing all three assessments and then they weren't in the right group. So make sure that you're clicking on the correct assessment. Okay, speaking of assessment, let's look at yesterday's quiz. Now, if I'm looking here, we had an average of a 4.21 out of 5, which is good. If I can get anything that's a 4 out of 5 or higher, I'm really happy with that. Okay, and I was really, really happy with how well we were able to answer each question. 8 over 1 is the same thing as 8 over 1 is the same thing as 8. Anytime you have a whole number, you just have to take in order to make it a fraction, you just have to put that number over 1. 4 over 1 is the same thing as 4. 8 over 2, or 8 halves, is the same thing as, I had some people put 2 eighths. Now remember, just because they have the same numbers does not mean that they have the same value. So the correct answer here should have been 4, because 8 divided by 2 gets you 4. And remember, that fraction bar is the same thing as division. Which of the following is equivalent to the whole number of 4? Okay, you should have clicked B, 4 over 1, because anytime there's a whole number, in order for it to be equivalent as a fraction, you put that number over 1, because 4 divided by 1 gets you 4. Think about that fraction bar as division. It's the same thing. And then on the last question, I had mixed answers on this. Is 1/5 equivalent to 5 over 1, and how do you know? No, it is not equivalent, even though they have the same numbers. And I love this example that a couple of you guys put. You said, well, if I had 1/5 of a pie, I'd only have one small piece of pie. But if I have 5 over 1, then I have 5 whole pies. And 5 whole pies is way bigger. And then someone even said that they cross multiplied, which is awesome. That means that you're taking knowledge from before and you're applying it now. So we're going to look at something new today. Okay, and that's going to be, how can we help our fraction number sense so that 4 over 1 seems easy to us, knowing that it's the whole number of 4. I thought, what better way to get your attention and talk about number sense of fractions than talking about money? Okay, so I'm going to write a fraction on one side, and then I'm going to talk about what money that would apply to. Okay, so if I had the fraction, it's right in blue, of 1/4. Okay, think in terms of this. Your denominator always tells you how many parts make up the whole. If we're talking about a whole and we're talking about it in money, this is a whole. Okay, it's $1, a whole dollar. You even use that term. Oh, I got a whole dollar. Okay, this is your whole. If I have 1 and it takes 4 of something to make $1, what 4 of something does it take to make $1? You guys should be thinking a quarter. Okay, I have 4 quarters here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and it says that I just have 1 of these. So essentially, 1/4 is the same thing as a quarter. Okay, I'm going to draw in my quarter. Whoop, wrong pen. I'm going to put 25 cents. Okay, so we know that 1/4 and a quarter are the same thing. We know this because there's 1 quarter and it takes 4 to make a whole. So it takes 4 whole quarters to make a whole dollar. Let's do another example. What about 1/2? Right. Remember, we're doing this to enhance our number sense with fractions. What in terms of money could you think of that would equal the fraction of 1/2? and our whole is $1. Well, let's stick with quarters for a second here. If I said that I had 4 quarters, right, and I needed to have half of $1, how many quarters do I need? If you said 2, you're correct. So 1/2 is the same thing as 50 cents. So that could be 2 quarters. Okay, you could write this as 50 over 100. What are some other things that equal 50 cents? Because our whole is 100 cents or $1. We said 2 quarters equal 1/2, and we know this because 2 quarters is 2/4, and 2/4 and 1/2 are the same thing. Well, what if we were talking about dimes? It's hard to see, but there we go. I have 10 dimes here, okay? What is half of 10? Okay, what kind of money or how many dimes would I need in order to equal 1/2? If you said 5 would get you 50 cents or would be half of $1, you're correct. So you could write it as 5/10, which is equivalent to 1/2. You can also think about it in terms of 5 dimes. See that? All right. Let's do one more example. Let's look at the fraction of 4/4. Now, you guys know that 4 over 4 equals 1 whole. Okay? So if you're talking in terms of 4/4, that's 1 whole. Well, I know that that's the same thing as $1. I also know that that's the same thing as 4 quarters because it takes 4 to equal a whole. So I know 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. So I'm going to draw in 4 quarters. Or 4/4 would be equal to, if you're talking in terms of dimes, 10 dimes. So it could be 10 over 10, 4 over 4, which is kind of what we said was equal, or 1 whole. See all these equivalent fractions? So the whole point in today's video, it was quick and it was sweet, but it was to help your number sense, because a lot of times with fractions, we just memorize and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So maybe today, talking about money, that kind of helps you put a connection there. If it doesn't, that's okay. If you were understanding things before in your own way, that's okay. This is just another tool for you to think of. So now I'm going to explain what I want out of you guys today, okay? So on Mondays and Tuesdays, you're actually going to do reflex. And on Wednesdays and Thursdays, you're going to get a Zern lesson in. So today is Wednesday, so you need to do 1 Zern lesson. Then after you do the Zern lesson, you're watching this video, okay? And then after you watch this video, you will have a Google slide just for you, okay? Just for orange, green, and blue. If you're not in orange, green, and blue group, do not join this Google slide, okay? Our learning objective is the relationship between fractions and whole numbers. Or we talked about today, number sense, so fractions to money. So this is kind of a review, and this is also kind of what we looked at today. So it has instructions. You're going to find a blank slide, write your name at the top. Well, I have an example slide for you. I found a blank slide. I wrote my name at the top. You're going to give 2 examples of a whole number to a fraction and 1 example of any amount of money and the fraction it represents. Well, I did my 2 whole numbers. I did 4 and 7, and I gave a fraction example. And then I also have my money as $1. Now, you could do anything you wanted to here. You could say a quarter, and that would be 1/4. You could say 3 quarters, and that would be 3/4. You could say 3 dimes, and that would be 3/10. Okay, just show me that you understand the relationship. If this is the whole, okay, 0 to 1, if this is the whole, then you're talking about what would a fraction be when it comes to money. So I gave the example of $1 is 4/4. It's one whole. All right, and then I put 4/4. So you'll go through here, you'll just put your name on a blank slide, and you'll fill in that chart, just like I did. Now, when you're done filling out the chart, you can comment on one friend's slide and give them another example of their whole number as a fraction. So you could comment on mine, and how you can do that, let me move me over here. There's a comment button in the top right-hand corner. You click this, then you click comment, and say I wanted to come up with another example of 4, and I said 4/1. That would be my other example, okay, and I could comment right there. So you're going to do Zern first. After you do Zern, you're going to watch this video. After you watch this video, you're going to get on Google Slides. After you finish your Google slide and you fill it all out, you need to comment on a friend's other Google slide. Okay? All right, and tomorrow, I forgot to mention this. Tomorrow, I'm going to make a video for everyone that everyone clicks on, and it's going to be a review of all things fractions. And then we're going to have the quiz, and we're going to end fractions. So the next week, we're actually going to move on to geometry. Okay, so tomorrow will be one video, and it'll be one quiz, and the quiz will be over everything fractions, and that will end our fraction unit. And next week, we're going to go on to geometry. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you get all your NTI work done. If you have any questions, let me know.